So, here we are today, looking a little spiritual and acting like a good boy.
Acting.
No, we are good boys. And for all those who can see us, and you obviously would be knowing that we are wearing Indian clothes today. And for all those who can't see us, who are probably listening to this on Spotify or who don't want to see us, we are wearing kurtas because today's podcast is about yoga from a different point of view from today's from today's
Say
generation.
thanks for the pillow, bro.
What it has been and what it is right now from our very own yoga boy
That's why.
Anvay. So yeah, bro, take it away.
Okay. Yeah, so I thought talking about yoga will be cool because why not? It's something that, like you said, has been a part of my life since a long time.
Yeah.
And yeah, man. Okay, let me ask you, what do you know about yoga? What's your view on yoga to start off with?
See, what I have never really practiced yoga, if I'm being honest. Like, you see people doing yoga every single day, and in my head, it's mostly all those. I mean, Surya Namaskar and all that, and I mean, of course, we did it in school and all that. So it's basically just the asanas and all. So meditation as well. So in my head, it's just like people do yoga for self-satisfaction and probably fitness. So I think it's for me. I mean, for me personally, it's that only. So am I right or am I wrong?
There's some truth to it. You can't say it's wrong. There's no wrong view, but obviously the traditional view is a little different. So I don't know, where should I start? Should I start by giving gyan directly? It's like,
Whatever you
where
feel
do
is
you
right.
go, bro?
You know more than me, definitely, and
In
yoga is
this-
something you've been doing since you were little.
Yeah.
So
Since I was little, yeah. So yeah, bro, I've so for context for people, I've grown up at a yoga institute.
Yoga,
which
yeah.
you know, it's called Kaivalyadhama. Shout out to Kaivalyadhama. So
you can put the Instagram link and all in the.
yeah, they'll get whichever few people watch us, they'll go follow the page. But yeah, whoever's watching this, guys, check out Kaivalyadhama. It's so a little bit about the institute. It's completing 100 years next year, and
I thought it's this year.
no, it starts this year.
Starts.
So
Oh,
1924 to
Yeah.
2024. So 2023 is
okay.
like when the
So it's like the
celebration
prep
begins.
and all.
Yeah, like you know how like the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav started
Yeah.
in whatever the year before,
Mhm.
and it ended last year, which is when the 75 years were completed. So yeah, that's how it happened. So yeah, man, Kaivalyadhama is a yoga institute, one of the oldest ones in the country. Actually, you can term it as the oldest. They do scientific research in yoga, and they were the first ones to do it. And our founder, Swami Kaivalyadhama,
Yeah.
Guru.
I have his book also over there.
Yeah, you do have his book.
Yeah.
So we'll plug in some books also in the description. Not to like plug in the institute, but plug in for knowledge sake.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, Kaivalyadhama is one of the oldest institutes, and my dad has been associated for 40 plus years. And as a result, I have been
Oh,
associated.
40 years.
Yeah, 43 to be precise.
Oh, lovely.
And as a result, I have been
Yeah.
then, because he's
Brought up with that
yeah.
environment and all that.
Yeah, like he's only done this his whole life.
Right.
And so then when he had my sister and me, so both of us grew up in that environment and we're still in that environment. So,
Shout out to Anvita as well. Yeah.
yeah, that's my sister. So we'll tag Yogic Gurukul as well.
Yeah.
One more plug-in. But anyway, so yeah, so that's a little bit about my background. And I think yoga has crazy popularity right now. I mean, that's where I want to begin, because I think everyone today knows that yoga is something that is very popular. It's something that is good for your health. It's something that you should do. Not everyone does it, but it's something you should practice. And that it's like a ancient practice. It's very like cultural in our country as well. It's not just some fitness exercise.
Yeah.
Although that's what most people perceive it to be. Like, let me ask you, what do you think, like obviously barring the things you know from me, but
Yeah.
what do you think yoga is? What's your perception? Is it limited to the physical, basically?
No, because obviously, like this is not the first time that we are actually speaking about.
Yeah.
You've told me a few things earlier in the past as well.
But I think before I told you, you did say that you thought it was
Yeah, like I
asana,
think for someone who won't be knowing a lot about yoga, he or she might just say the same thing that, it's Surya Namaskar. All that. I don't mean to, generalize it, but
Yeah.
I think for me, I mean, specifically what I noticed, yoga picked up. I mean, I'm not saying that it was unpopular and now it's become popular and all that.
But no, you're right. Like
Yeah, I
it
think
did
after
pick up more
after COVID, right?
Hmm.
Because people were more concerned about mental health, and yoga does not just, target physical well-being; it targets mental well-being as well.
Everything.
Yeah, everything.
So let me plug in like a formal definition of yoga,
Okay.
and this is because I've studied yoga not just in the physical manner. I've done it academically also because
Yeah.
there are courses and all now, which I'm sure some people are aware that if you want to become a teacher, you do the
Yeah.
course, you become a teacher, and then you
Yeah.
get like a level 1, level 2, level 3 qualification. So I've done the first level qualification. I did that in 2019, and now I'm doing a master's in yoga shastra.
Yeah.
So
That
deep into the-
involves physical and
everything. Yeah. So it's like theory plus your
practical.
physical,
Yeah.
your practical stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I was saying that. What was I saying?
Yeah. You were talking about how yoga has been and what it is right now. All that.
So yeah, people perceive it to be limited to the physical,
Yeah.
and of course, I think by now some people do know that it's not just that.
Yeah.
But still, for the benefit of the larger audience, I think we perceive yoga to be as okay. There's asana, there's pranayam, so that's like physical movements plus breathing. But like, I think I am breaking a bubble when I say this. There are 8 limbs of yoga in the traditional or classical text. It's called Ashtang Yoga. And
I think I've heard of this.
One more thing. I said Ashtang Yoga. Pay attention to that. People think it's yoga, but actually it's yoga. That's it.
Is there a difference? I mean,
Yeah. So yoga is the anglicized version of the word.
okay.
But when you see it in Hindi or in the Devanagari script, it's written as yoga.
Yeah, like Yoga Shastra.
Yoga Shastra.
Yeah, right.
Then there's a sutra, Yogena Chittasya Padena Vacha Malan Sharirasya Cha Vedyakena. I won't say the whole thing, but Yogena Chittasya. So yoga is basically the point.
So there's a difference in the word itself. Yoga. Yeah.
So, and the word yoga also means, so traditionally it comes from the root word yuj. And yuj means to join or like union. And it doesn't mean, so that means yoga means to join soul and body. Like, it's not that basic, but that's just the root word that it comes from.
Yeah.
In English, the root word is yoke. Yoke again means to join.
Yeah.
And then it came to yoga. So that's a little history. And then, yeah, I think yoga now, like we were talking about the popularity, right? So now it's become popular, not just during COVID, I think, but like Modi. Bro, Modi took yoga to like literally the world. I would say it was already popular, but not popular enough and not as popular as it is today. Because Modi in 2015 went to the UN. I don't know if you know this, but actually in 2014, he proposed to the UN General Assembly that we should have an International Day of Yoga. Officially.
Oh.
And it should be passed by the UN General Assembly. And I think it got the maximum number of support that a proposal has ever got from, I think, 180 something countries.
Right.
So majority, like basically pretty much all countries supported it. And then they officially announced it. And the first yoga day happened in 2015. And since then it's been happening. This year we did the 9th yoga day.
Yeah.
And it's
so,
crazy.
But wait, I think Kaivalyadhama has been doing yoga day for a long time, right?
Yeah, like they had like a World Yoga Day, but it wasn't a UN thing. Like one when the UN
where it's
passed
recognized.
where it's recognized.
Okay. Yeah.
And I think it's really nice and symbolic in a way that India proposed the Yoga Day to be an international day of yoga.
Yeah, because so talking about this as well, I've seen a lot of countries catching up with yoga. It's like, how our parents say कि तुम अपना छोड़ रहे हो but दूसरे लोग पकड़ रहे हैं, and it's all that. Like you look at a lot of people, especially in the US, Europe specifically, they're picking up on yoga. They are the ones who are practicing and teaching at the same time. They're coming to India, learning it and teaching it over there, and making good amount of money as well out of that. So do you think that's like a sense of, I mean, how should I put it? I mean, is it a cause of concern that people are learning the art over here, spreading it over there? So that might be
Spreading
good.
it in the West.
Yeah, spreading it in the West, as in, learning it here, spreading it and going there, and
I
and
think-
we are forgetting more to do with that, and we are forgetting about it.
See,
So do you think that's a cause of concern?
I think it's good, bro, because it should spread. Like, it's a very good
Yeah,
practice.
not talking about spreading
Yeah.
specifically, but the fact that
Hmm.
people like us are not, so involved in what we have only started in terms of that.
That's true. We aren't. Like, I think, see, we can't help it. It's a I can't speak. Colonial influence. Bro.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, you can't help it. They've done like such a cultural brainwashing to us over the last 200, 300 years that we're inevitably conditioned to think that what is ours is not good, what's foreign is better, or what's white, or what's Western.
Right.
So, thoda apne culture se there's a detachment, which is unfortunate. And it's not something we did to ourselves, but it's something we allowed to happen over a
And
period
it's been
of time.
passing on.
And it's been passing on. And now I think the tide is turning, but it'll take a long time for it to fully happen. So people, like, yoga became popular abroad, only again restricted to the physical aspect for most people.
Yeah.
I can't say for all, but for most.
Yeah.
And then it came like it became a trend. It became a trend there, and then whatever becomes a trend there becomes a trend.
I think that's the right way to say it. It's a trend,
Yeah.
like trendsetters, like, oh, he or she's doing yoga, even I want to do yoga.
Yeah, like if you've heard of Lululemon, it's a company in the US, okay? They make yoga pants, and it's like popular. Like, it's like everybody buys the
So people buy it because of the brand, not because it's yoga pants.
Exactly. And also yoga pants to start with, thoda
Comfortable.
I mean, like, it's not the most, like in yoga they tell you, you should use natural fabrics.
Oh.
Yeah, and not like those skin tight. Skin tight, they don't recommend only.
But
everything that everyone wears, even us, including us,
Yeah.
the Nike t-shirts we wear to the gym or something, for example, or the tights that most girls end up wearing.
Yeah.
Tights, literally the concept, it's comfortable. I know I don't have anything against tights, but when you wear it and it's stuck to your skin can't breathe. So you need a very breathable
So there's a scientific
fabric.
reason behind that as well.
Yeah, like you need a breathable fabric for your skin to literally normally, like, the air should go in, out. I'm not too scientifically aware about it, but I know that they say your skin is not able to breathe and not able to get the right amount of openness to, the environment when it's covered that much.
Right.
So that's a little bit of a restriction. So anyway, coming back to what we were talking about, the popularity. So like these brands and all, Western popularity, whatever. And then came Modi in 2015, announced it at the UN accepted it. And then they made it like a internationally recognized event. And it started in 2015. And then we did the 9th one this year. And now, bro, I don't know if you saw, but this year, Modi went to the UN.
Yeah.
And ever since he announced it, I think this year was the first time he went and led the celebrations in New York at the UN. And they did a world record of like some 150,000 people who practiced yoga altogether.
Damn.
They made a world record. And he led it. This time, he always leads it in the country.
Right.
But this time, he led it at the bloody UN, which is crazy.
Yeah, man.
So,
of course.
Bro, I think Modi deserves a lot of credit, at least for this. Like, I don't want to go politics on this. I just want to say he's done a lot for yoga, bro. Like, he's made it very, very, very popular.
Yeah. That's honestly, I mean, I think, again, not getting into politics or not being political or whatever,
Playing
but
it safe.
Yeah, I mean, I that's the best way to put it. But I think no one else has given that much emphasis on yoga that Modi is giving right now. So in terms of what and all he's doing, spreading the word, and it's not like he's just spreading the word outside of the country. He's doing it in the country as well. He's, emphasizing people to take it up to combat, let's say, mental health or, physical well-being. Because that is what you need for yoga. You need nothing. I mean, probably just a yoga mat in the end.
Yeah.
And you just need to, you can learn on the internet. I mean, it's not like you need a teacher as well. Everything's available on the internet. You can learn on the internet.
Yeah.
And I think what Modi is doing in the end, I completely agree with you. That's fantastic, at least in terms of yoga. Not being political.
Yeah.
At least in terms of
I
yoga.
think it's fair to say, like, we know politically also. He's a PR genius, bro. Like, we won't get too much into it at the moment, but he's done what he's done at his behest. He has a certain expertise that we can respect. And it's helped, I think, with not just Indian culture, like thoda motivating Indians to be a little more proud of that. But yeah, it's helped a lot for the yoga fraternity, and people have been working for so long, and like very little credit and very little due respect and all was given. And there were certain people who were pioneers in that, and I think one of them was our Swamiji, and that's why I feel so proud, bro. Like, I didn't ask to be associated with this. There must have been some, you can call it past life karma, past life association, or simply God's blessing of being able to be born there.
That's nice.
So yeah, bro, it's like a blessing. That's how I look at it. And
No, honestly, like being associated with something that is spiritual in the end is something that a lot of people don't get very easily. Like, you see, spirituality is not like I prayed to God today, so I'm spiritual. I mean that's.
Bro, many people go to the temple and they just do
like this and come. Like, bro, there's a meaning behind every single thing, and the fact that you are so deep into yoga, that is
still, like, in saying that, I also want to say I'm still a student. Like, I'm still learning a lot. Like,
but that's the thing, you're learning. There are a lot of people not even doing that.
Yeah. True.
Yeah.
I think whatever I am learning is what I'm sharing today.
Yeah.
I'm no authority. I just have some knowledge that I've learned. Rather, let me call it information, which I'm passing through, bro.
At least you know more than all of us now.
That's true.
You can flex.
So, but yeah, man. So, I want to discuss like common people's view, and like, why do you think it's not so popular among us, among our own people? Although it's from here, like, what's the reason for that?
See, if you ask me, my mom does yoga every day. I'll go a little behind. My mom does yoga every day. She does it because she feels nice after that. Like, you're doing something, you're involved in a physical activity, and that mentally also makes you feel good. So she does that. But specifically, if you ask about me, if somebody tells me you want to do yoga, I'll be like, yeah, okay. But I mean, I don't see myself practicing it, because it's, in the end, if you're practicing something, you have to be solely invested in it. Like, you can't just be like, aaj kiya, kal nahi kiya. So for me, I mean, and talking about a lifestyle also, now if you see like yoga in terms of like what I said is physical, mental well-being. People can be like, I'll go to the gym for that. Why do I have to do yoga? Or I'll do something that makes me feel happy. Like, if talking about a random person, for example, if he or she is like, I like going for a drive, it makes me feel calm, so I'll do that. So I think it's very subjective. Some people feel yoga, they do it to feel good in the end. That, I've done yoga, I've practiced what I have, and I'm feeling great, so I'm going to continue doing this. So I think it's very subjective. People like going to the gym. Like, I like going to the gym, so I go to the gym. You like yoga, so you do yoga. And there's so many people will be having so many things that they would be doing. So bro, I think it's subjective.
It's very subjective.
And like how I said earlier also, it's more of a trend. It's like, if it's happening at that time, then I'll do it. And a trend is what? After some time, a trend also disappears. So I think that's the issue that's there right now.
I think there's a lot of dilution of quality in the yoga world right now. Because, bro, there are, like, I don't want to name, and I don't know also many names, but many teachers that teach me say there are so many institutes that do like 3-day courses, 4-day, 1 week, 1 month also chalo. 1 month to chalo is still now recognized by the government, but very short courses, they do like 3 days, and they're like, tum yoga teacher ho. Like,
there is. I think I met this one person. He or she, I don't know what, they're like, ye asan karna seekh liya, ye seekh liya. I've learned 10 asans, so I can go and teach people.
No, bro. Like,
it's like that.
That's so delusional. Bro, there's so much, and the best part, and maybe also the scary part for some people, is the more you unravel into the world of yoga, the more you go into it, the more you're like, bro, it's vast and endless. Like, it's literally, bro, there's so much knowledge now. Like, in one lifetime also is not enough. Maybe multiple lifetimes is also not enough to understand it, grasp it. Forget understanding and grasping, to even just get all the information first.
True.
Then you understand it. Then you live it. So it's a process. So it's like crazy. And people who are yogis now, they are at another level. And okay, I want to talk about one more thing though. Like, before I say anything about this, you mentioned gyms now. So I was thinking, like, so many people compare, like, do like a gym versus yoga. So let's talk about that. Gym versus yoga. What is the difference? I think, here's my view. I'll say my view. I think the gym is good. It's for building strength.
Yeah.
It's a dynamic practice.
Right.
It's only dynamic in nature. And there's little to no focus on the breath, I would say, in the practices. It's more to do with your movements. And you're not really like mindful about it or anything. At least from what I've seen, most people.
It's
do
like
at the
your
gym.
trainer will tell you do this, and then you'll go and do it without even thinking.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
where is it? You know,
without even thinking
that.
Those
that's
are the
thing,
three
yeah.
words.
It's like, what if he's like, this movement is going to target your biceps? He'll be like, okay, I'll do it. You never know. It can target your bicep. It can target your shoulder. It can. If you don't do it properly, it's not. So that's the thing. People don't think, they just do it.
Yeah.
At least the ones that, I mean, I have a lot of people going to the gym who are actually serious about it. They know they do it properly and all that. But so many people who are amateurs and, you know, who just go to the gym because it's a fashion statement or, you know, a style statement, if that's the best way that I can put it.
Yeah.
They don't know exactly if they're doing the movement right. It's like trainers ne bola, to I'm doing it.
Yeah, we went to a gym that day. Again, don't want to name, but it's part of a popular gym chain across the country. So we went there, and bro, the trainers didn't even help. Like, I had to ask them multiple times, and वो भी उसके बाद like हाँ इसका 3 set. अरे लेकिन कैसे करते कैसे bro? I don't know how to do it. So they don't help you only. Versus I've noticed in yoga. So here's now a difference in, I think, one more difference in gym versus yoga. In yoga, there's extreme focus on the breath. There's extreme focus on posture. There's extreme guidance from the teacher if they're teaching you correctly. And it's static as a practice, not dynamic. At least the classical yoga practices. There are dynamic ones as well, but those aren't the classical ones. They're not considered to be classical. Like even Surya Namaskar. So here's a myth buster about Surya Namaskar. Surya Namaskar was started by the Maharaja of Aundh, which is in Pune. He did like a culmination or a mix of certain practices, put it together so that's easy to practice for people to do in like one flow. And that's how there was Surya Namaskar. But historically or traditionally, Surya Namaskar is not part of yoga. Surya Namaskar is not actually even considered yoga, classically. There's no text or there's no like, I mean, because it was founded also less than 100 years ago, if I'm not wrong.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's not.
That's pretty.
It could be a little more also. I don't want to make a huge.
But yoga has been since such a long time, right?
Yoga 5,000 is what they say, but it could be even much more.
So if you're comparing 5,000 with 100 years, that's barely anything.
Yeah. So like just imagine if Surya Namaskar is so recent and it's not classical. Remember, they call it Sukshma Vyayam, which means it's an exercise. They don't include it in traditional yoga. So that's a myth buster because most people think it is part of yoga, but it's not. And
I mean, I remember in school, we used to have these yoga classes. We used to start with Surya Namaskar. It used to be like that. So now, this is the first time that I'm even finding about the fact that Surya Namaskar is not a part of yoga. And damn, man.
People often say, like, at least the experienced people in the classical field of yoga, they say that Surya Namaskar is, you're doing exercise. It's good. As an exercise, it's good. No one's saying you shouldn't do it. But people often say that you shouldn't call it yoga. You shouldn't call that yoga because it's not. So you can call it exercise, or Sukshma Vyayam is the word that is, termed for that. So that's
I want to ask one thing. Like, people say yoga for the physical, mental well-being. That's the statement that is used for yoga. So for mental well-being, I just know about meditation, to be honest, in terms of yoga. What else what else is there? I mean, if there's someone who's like, I want to feel peace and happiness, but I don't want to do all those postures and asanas and all of that. I just want to do something that I can, something like meditation.
So here's the definition of yoga, and this definition was given by Swami Kaivalyadhama, and then also there's a definition to health. So I'll give both. Definition to yoga is basically, yoga has a complete message for humanity. Yoga has a message for the human mind, for the human body, and for the human soul. So he's saying that it's multi-dimensional. It's not just restricted to your mind. It's not just also restricted to your body, but it's also for the soul. It's also for the well-being, and etc. And then they also say in health. Health is not just when you don't have a disease, but it's also the state where your everything is at an optimal level.
You're maintaining your health.
In terms of your mental state, your emotional state, your spiritual state, your physical state, of course,
Yeah.
and your I think there's one more society ka, there's one word I can't remember, but basically all of these aspects have to be proper in order to say that an individual is really healthy. And look at that. I mean, most people
Now we're
consider
just like we have 6-pack abs, so we're healthy, bro.
like most people think, bro, health is like, हाँ, disease नहीं है, मैं ठीक हूँ.
हाँ ठीक हूँ.
But it's not ideal still. Like you can be a lot healthier. And most of us, including myself, I'm not some perfect gyan giving guru out here, but it's
Yeah,
stuff
it's
that I've
true.
been told by people who are my teachers. And I'm really trying to put it into practice because I know that there is so much more scope, you know, to health. So anyway, that's something. And yeah, so I was talking about what is yoga. I think let's do like a what really is yoga. First, I want to ask you. I think you've already said your.
Yeah, see,
definition.
I'm very restricted to the meaning. For me, it's just physical, mental well-being.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, like, I mean, that is true, but there's so many branches to that as well.
Yeah.
And before we go ahead, we didn't give a shout out to Mitali, who is volunteered to come here.
So yeah, I think good pause, good time to talk about it.
Talk about it.
We have Param Mitra.
We have one of our really close friends over here.
Yeah.
She volunteered to come and help us. I think she's enjoying it.
The unfortunate part is I don't know how to turn the camera to her, but she's here. Mitali, say hi.
We'll put a photo here.
Mitali, say hi loudly. Yeah, it came in the mic. We'll make sure this part we turn the volume up.
Shout out to Mitali.
Or we'll do like we'll record a separate audio on our phones and we'll plug it in. Like we'll keep like a 10-second gap in audio.
Yeah, we'll pause everything. So, okay, yeah, coming back. So for me, physical, mental health, well-being. That's it.
Yeah, cool. So yeah, and you know what? So we did talk about this, but I didn't go into the details of something I wanted to speak about. So Ashtanga Yoga, 8 limbs. The 8 limbs are Yam, Niyam, Asan, Pranayam, Pratyahar, Dharana, Dhyan, Samadhi. 8 limbs of yoga known as Ashtanga Yoga. Ashtanga literally means 8 limbs.
Ashtaya is Sanskrit word for 8, yeah.
Now imagine in these 8 limbs, only 2/8 of it is actually your physical, to do with your physical practices, which we consider as yoga. Which are those? Asana and pranayam.
Pranayam, yeah.
है ना? बाकी से तो कभी सुना भी नहीं, पता नहीं.
Pranayam, yeah. This I know.
I love how you do this, bro.
And
Mitali is also laughing.
She also be knowing.
Bro, it's like Hare Ram, Hare Ram. People think it's that, dude.
I mean, I think pranayam everyone knows. I don't know a single person who wouldn't be knowing what pranayam is.
But what do you think pranayam is?
Breathe in, breathe out. I mean, I think
that's not actually pranayam.
I think it's more to do with, cleansing your respiratory system. Is it something like that?
That's actually Kriya, which is another part of. We have a friend named Kriya. So
that's
anyway, but it's part of like the Shuddhi Kriya, like when you're cleansing the internal system, your body. That is what Kriya means, like cleansing of the systems. Pranayam in the sort of like loosely translated version in English is control of breath, but it's not just control of your breath. It's like, if you have to understand it in its entirety, it's your inhalation, exhalation, yeah. But when there's a pause between that inhalation and exhalation, which is called kumbhak, when that kumbhak happens, is only when a certain practice can be considered to be pranayam. Otherwise, you're just like inhale from the left, exhale from the right. But if there's no pause, which usually comes naturally after years of practice, that is termed as pranayam. Otherwise, what the alternate nostril breathing that we do is just alternate nostril breathing.
So it's not pranayam.
Or it's called Nadi Shodhan Kriya, which is again a practice to literally Nadi Shodhan means cleansing of the nadis or the passage of the air and the that whole thing.
Right.
So that's what it means. And again, I'm sharing what I know. I can't say I know everything. So this is thoda bahut jo sikha hai. That's good. Yeah. So yeah.
See, one thing, bro, I really want to, like, this just popped up in my mind, that the fact that you're telling me that there's so much in yoga, like we're not even doing 1% of it, at least the general population, I would say. So why is it that people don't get completely into it? It's just like, हाँ मैं ये कर सकता हूँ, ये कर सकती हूँ, so I'm fine with it.
Because that's the perception now. Everyone is perceiving it to be a physical practice, which first of all it's not. And then another thing is that So, okay, I'm going to go into a little bit of history. People historically in Hatha Yoga, now Hatha Yoga is a separate concept. I won't explain what it is, but it's a type of yoga. One of the, again, most traditional, most, you can say, old method of doing yoga. And there are schools of yoga. So, Hatha Yoga is like a certain school of yoga. School, matlab, not literally school. A type of practice or a
It's like a
lineage of
branch.
practice.
Yeah.
Branch. You
Yeah.
can say it's a branch. So in Hatha Yoga, they say that when you're doing your true yoga sadhana
Yeah.
or your yoga practice, you don't tell anybody about it. You just do it. And a true person who is yogic or is a yogi or on the path of becoming a yogi, they never publicize or tell the whole world that I am doing yoga. That I is only the problem. They say na ego.
That is the thing now.
dissolves
Style
the
statement.
ego.
That's exactly what I said. Trend
Style statement.
and style statement.
True.
So
True.
that's what it is.
Exactly. So they say that if you dissolve the ego, pehle to that I only should not be there. And then you're not doing yoga, they say, right, yoga is a lifestyle. You're not doing it for just that 1 hour in your class. You're doing it for the rest of the 23 hours as well. You're trying to be yogic in everything you do. In your eating, in
So
your
it's basically
sleeping.
your actions as well.
Yeah, that's why there's yam niyam. You know what? So in the Ashtang Yoga, the yam niyam comes first. Why? Because yam, social codes of conduct, niyam is how you should live your life. Yam is ahimsa, satya, asteya, brahmacharya, aparigraha, which is ways of life. Asteya is, don't steal from anybody. Ahimsa is the obvious, non-violence. But not just non-violence physically, कि मैंने उसको मारा नहीं, but उसको मारने के बारे में
Negative thoughts
सोचा.
and all, yeah.
हाँ, if I thought about hitting him, that's still,
Yeah.
you're still being violent.
Right,
So you have to, at that level also, at a thought level, at a, every internal level,
Yeah.
at a soul level, you have to kind of negate that altogether. So that's like the basic of it. So that I won't go into the details again, but they say that you have to follow these things first before you even get into asana. You have to first become disciplined yourself. That's why they have the yam and niyam. And niyam is for yourself, like keeping
How
your
you
body
have to
clean,
maintain yourself.
your hygiene, and how you have to behave with your peers. That comes in the social part again. But then your devotion to God, all of that comes in this. So all of these aspects are important. And when we don't follow it, then most people's perception is that yes, yoga gives you therapeutic benefit, it gives you that value, but it's a byproduct, it's not the goal. It's not why yoga exists, it's not why yoga is done. It's more because in the recent times people have discovered that as a byproduct of doing yoga, you get therapeutic value and benefit as well. So if you get that, naturally people will gravitate towards doing it.
Yeah.
But if you limit yourself to that, then you're not truly doing yoga, you're just doing something for your benefit. And why wait also till you fall sick, na? मतलब मैं बीमार हो गया तो shit, I need to do yoga now. Yeah, I like you take take to it at that time.
Yeah.
But they say yoga is better so prevention is better than cure.
Cure, yeah.
Swamiji said that 100 years ago. Why? Because this only, I mean, you would rather prevent the disease and have a good lifestyle from before.
You'd rather suffer and then, cure yourself.
And then you don't know if you'll get cured also or not.
True,
like many people, unfortunately, don't get cured. Like now in Lonavala, okay, I'm sidetracking a little bit, I want to mention this. In Lonavala, they have a cancer care center coming up in Kaivalyadhama. Why? Because
you want to give that what is there in Lonavala for Kaivalyadhama?
I can. So I'll keep it short.
Yeah.
It's like a mini city in itself. In Lonavala is where it's based.
It's the main campus.
It's the main campus, and there's accommodation over there, so you can go and stay and do various sorts of yoga programs. There's the first ever yoga college in the country that started in 1951. Started in Lonavala. 1962 they had the first ever yoga hospital. And in 1924 it was the first ever scientific research yoga institute. So there's a lot of firsts.
Lots.
To its credit.
Like I think when you're on the way from Mumbai to Pune, you can see it. You can actually see it.
Yes, you can. It's
Actually,
a green building on your left side. That's not that's one part of the institute. It's a school. It's called Kaivalyadhama. So
I saw it. I think I texted you also that time that, oh bro, I saw it.
Yeah. So whenever most people pass it, they tell me.
Right.
It's also in a very happening part of the city. So often people have bungalows and all next to it. So
so they can go there.
They can go there. So it's very accessible. It's off the expressway. You see it when you're going towards Pune as well, as you said.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, I would urge people to go there and stay because it's very lovely. The environment is extremely calming and soothing. It's very green. It's also not extremely commercialized, I would say. So it's really like this like
If
sort of
and if
secluded.
anyone wants to escape from the city, can just go there.
Yeah, man.
You've never taken me though.
I'll take you, bro. This year. We'll take Ali Re Ali also.
Yeah, we'll take Mithali as well.
Context, we call Mithali.
Yeah, Ali Re Ali.
This is so yoga serious side, and then we're doing all this.
So that yoga is now, you should code of conduct. You should be
We
happy.
should be happy. It's one thing my dad always says, you know this. So
Yeah.
anyway, so yeah, let's keep the conversation going.
Yeah.
Coming back to what we were talking about. What were we talking about?
Lonavla.
Lonavala. No, so yeah, that. Yeah, so that's a little bit about the institute, and they have a college, as I said, they have a hospital, and then you can also go there and do like courses to become a teacher. You can also go there for therapy, like yoga therapy, and they have Ayurveda, naturopathy as well. So all sorts of things are available.
So, bro, like one thing that I want to ask, that you know, I've heard about this. I'm not too sure. I might be wrong as well. So like I've heard of, you know, some hot yoga, beer yoga. Like for real, I'm not lying. Hot yoga, beer yoga.
Of course.
Then there's goat yoga.
Yeah.
And
Power yoga.
Power yoga, I think. Yeah. Like is it something like beer yoga? I mean, I heard for the first time. It's like, bro, what is it? Yeah.
Bro, first of all, in yoga,
it's like drinking beer and I'm spiritually happy.
they prescribe a certain lifestyle where all this like. So they say no stimulants, avoid all of this, don't do it and all. Yeah, if you're on a path where you're, you know, trying to get onto it, ideally you should completely, this should not be a part of it only.
You should.
Now if you're mixing the two,
yeah.
mixing beer and yoga, it's like, it's not even, that's, you can't call it only yoga. Like, okay, enjoy if you want to, do your thing separately. But you can't mix the two, bro. And even doing yoga with a dog, like it doesn't happen because the animal comes in the way. Animal ko dimag nahi hai na ki wo kya kare, kaise kare. And it's fun to play with dogs, but you shouldn't mix it. Your full focus needs to be in the practice. If it's not, then you're not doing it properly. Like then it's not authentic enough. So it's, all this is, I'm sorry to burst anyone's bubble. If you've done dog yoga or beer yoga or goat yoga, if anyone watched Indian matchmaking, there's a scene where they're doing yoga with goats, and the guy and girl are on a date, bro. Like,
I haven't watched it.
Anyway, so goat yoga is not yoga. It's playing with goats and doing some stretching at the most.
That's it.
Yeah, I don't think you can call it anything more than that. But it's funny. It's funny that people come up with all this, and I think no hate to America.
Innovative.
But most of these things happen there only. If you have to speak truthfully, this is not, again, classical to nahi hai. I don't want to be one of those ye tradition ke khilaf hai, but sach batao to
I think
it is.
See, to be very honest, I feel in the end people wanna just do what they have fun in. Like if it's dog yoga, you're doing yoga with your dog. Probably like the way you said it, that you know your attention might not be there, and you know you're not fully focusing on what you're doing with your dog or with your pet, whoever.
Yeah.
But in the end, if it's more like मैं खुश हूँ, I'm okay with doing these things. I don't have an issue. Like in the end, I just want to be happy, and this is what's making me happy. So, I mean, I think that's the mentality in terms of, you know, all these things.
I think one thing I like to refer to, which you had mentioned some time ago, that it's so subjective. I think everyone does a certain thing for their own reasons. And I think even yoga now, because it's become so widely popular, not everybody may do it for the spiritual reasons. And that's okay, I think, because it does give you certain benefits. So we shouldn't say ki, "Arey bro, but you're doing it for the wrong reasons." Yeah. You're doing it for a certain reason that is not the original reason that it was made for. But eventually it does, many people end up going on that path. Like many people come to yoga for therapy, end up becoming yoga teachers, then end up becoming so healthy they start teaching themselves. You know, and that's happened with so many people. Like I know because of my dad, the number of people that have come to Kaivalyadhama or have met him, come with a certain ailment and then have cured themselves and have become teachers. Yeah, right. So it's amazing. Right. It's like a crazy transformation. Right. But it's true. So and I think
so much to it. I mean,
so much.
Honestly,
to it, I'm telling you, as I speak at times, I'm like, damn, dude, it's so vast that like there's all sorts of things that come to mind. But anyway, so no hate to anybody who does certain kinds of yogas. I think if it's making you happy, it's giving you peace, it's making you feel better.
Satisfaction,
if you're, you know, going through something, if you're depressed, if you're sad, if you're really not feeling good, and maybe doing something like a hot yoga. I wouldn't still recommend beer yoga, but at least like yoga with dogs, or something that's power yoga, that's more dynamic. For some
Right.
people, they can't sit in one place. Like, it's tough, you know. Maybe that will happen with more practice at a later stage in life.
Right.
So for them, power yoga is okay, because I think, yeah, you do feel good, right? You're doing some exercise.
See, that's the
at
thing. In
least.
the end, it's just about how good you're feeling.
Yeah,
And
it's not only that, but I think it depends on the level you're at. Like, it's
yeah,
like,
of course.
it's like, I can't say I'm at okay, let's take this. If I'm in standard 5 and I want to do standard 10 syllabus that time only, and I'm obviously not doing too well in it because I'm too young to
Yeah.
understand it,
Yeah.
naturally I won't. So what am I doing at standard 5 ka level? Let me focus on that. Let me at least become good at that, and then I'll reach my 10th grade level, and then I'll do what I have to do in 10th grade. You know, so it's something like that. You can say
Right.
that there are levels. Then now there have become levels to it. And although initially it was very few people practiced yoga, very few people really did it because of how spiritually intense it was and how in general intense the practice was. So, you know, not everyone did it. And one thing I'd like to say, initially the yoga courses were of 2 years. You had to come and stay in Lonavala at Kaivalyadhama, do a 2-year course called Yog Pravisht, and you had to get selected. Only if you were fit, you would be given. Now, though, anyone can
Although it's
apply
like
and
so
anyone
many,
can do
yeah,
it.
yeah.
It's open to everybody.
But it's a 2-year thing only.
No, now there are different courses. There are diplomas, there's
Right.
certificate courses, which is like 1 month. So there are all kinds of courses, but like the original one, which my grandfather has also done, there is like 2 years, you know, your
Rigorous
training.
Yeah.
And until you're ready, you aren't
Going
allowed
out.
to, like, you're not like ready yet. Until like Swamiji or your guru thinks you're ready. So it's crazy. It's very intense.
So for all those people thinking I've learned a few asanas and damn I can teach yoga,
Yeah.
I think it's all a myth in the end.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Talk about myths. Let's do one last myth buster before we
Yeah.
call it close. So I wanted to talk about this especially because I think it's something many people think about.
Yeah.
So have you heard of the term Brahmacharya?
I was just gonna ask you that. Yeah.
So okay. So
Yeah, of course. You've
since
heard the
gotten
term
into it.
Brahma. I think Vitali also knows about Brahmachari.
Okay.
All of us, I think, yeah.
Nice. Okay, so I don't know why I'm laughing, bro. But what do you think it means, Charlie? Like, what's your perception of it?
I think no marriage and I think abstinence from sex, right?
Yeah. So, I mean,
Yeah.
that's what most people think. And even me at some point did think that
Yeah.
before I asked somebody senior.
I think it's more to do with the physical part, no? Like abstinence from sex and marriage. I mean, I'm not too sure, but the latter.
So, it's not only that.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm qualified enough to give even a very perfect example to explain exactly what it is either. But the myth buster is this, that it's not just abstinence, you know, from sex. And neither is it like no marriage and all. Because I think I want to put this out there that all our rishis and gurus and including Lord Shiva, man, like all our
Sons
gods
and
as
daughters,
well,
yeah.
were married and had
Yeah.
children and led a family life. And I think the reason behind that is in Hinduism, there is a very particular way of living your life. There are 4 ashrams. There's your Brahmacharya ashram, which is where you focus on yourself, focusing on developing yourself, knowledge, study, learning. Then comes Grihastha ashram. So let me put the age bracket as well. Brahmacharya is 1 to 25, like when you're born till you're 25 years old. And then 25 to 50 is like Grihastha ashram, where you focus on your married life, your home life, you're building your family.
So is that also a part of your how you have to conduct yourself in terms of serving your family?
Everything. There are certain
okay,
duties in each ashram that you have to fulfill. So there's Grihastha ashram. It's called also Grihastha ashram, right? Griha literally means home.
Home, yeah.
Then there's Vanaprastha ashram, where you're like, okay, you're in retirement, you're doing things for society, you're like thoda charitable stuff you're doing, you're like helping society, you're not focusing so much on business or like, you know, your family also, then slowly your kids have grown up, so they do their own thing, etc. So you've done your bit basically. Then your focus is more on, chalo, society ko help kare, thoda daan kare, like वैसे. And then comes sannyas. Now what does sannyas mean? I think everyone knows. Sannyas means
Leave
taking a step
everything,
back,
renounce the world.
renounce everything, and then like going on a spiritual journey.
Right,
So they've literally kept that for the later stage of your life, when you've done everything you had to, and then you go follow that trajectory. So you can't say that's for everybody, because Swami Vivekananda got spiritual enlightenment very early. But this ashram system was so important because it bifurcates everything so nicely, tells you how to live your life. And I think that's amazing. So in Brahmacharya, so that's what we originally were talking about, is that it's not just a physical abstinence. It's coupled with a lot of spiritual practices, and it's done with a true deep meaning. If it's only restricted to celibacy, then it's not enough, because you're doing it with no true deep reason.
Yeah, true.
So that's what they say, that you're not just abstaining from a sexual pleasure, you're abstaining from all pleasure derived through the senses. You're making
Be
sure
it anything. Like,
be it
yeah.
anything. You're not allowing yourself to be addicted. You're not consuming any stimulants. You're very focused on your self development, and you're abstaining from all distractions. Basically, that's what it is. And it's not just basically the sexual abstinence.
Yeah.
And most
I think
people
that's the common understanding in terms of, you know, what people think about brahmachari is, like what a brahmachari is. So.
Although a brahmachari is also usually not married, or does not indulge in sex. But it's not only that. Like, basically, that's the myth buster. So
honestly, there's so much, you know, to it. And I mean, of course, I think people who have heard us or have watched us, so I think our yoga boy has given us a lot today. And yeah, I mean, dude, it was...
I've tried.
Yeah, I mean, of course. I mean, I didn't know a lot of things that you've told me about.
Yeah.
So... And Mithali also looks pretty happy.
Mithali got spiritual enlightenment.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, episode ke shuru mein she was like, what's happening? And at the end
she'll see you at Lonavala now tomorrow. But anyways, I think it's great. There's so much more ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Honestly.
Yeah.